Of all the treasures hiding in plain sight, few are as overlooked, and as thrilling, as modern dimes with rare errors. Today, we're shining the spotlight on two small coins that, to the untrained eye, might look just like the pocket change jingling around in your cup holder or lying forgotten in a kitchen drawer. But for those who know what to look for, the 1999 and 1997 U.S. Roosevelt dimes can reveal a hidden world of minting mistakes, rare anomalies, and, in some cases, a pretty serious payday. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's had a stash of old coins gathering dust for years, you might be sitting on a surprisingly valuable piece of American minting history without even realizing it. Let's begin with the 1999 Roosevelt Dime, a year that feels, for many, like it just happened yesterday but has already slipped into the realm of collectability. The Roosevelt Dime, first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt's leadership and his role in founding the March of Dimes, had by the late 90s become a quiet staple of American currency. In 1999, minting processes had advanced to the point where significant errors were supposed to be virtually impossible. Quality control was better than ever. But that's what makes the 1999 dime so fascinating. Errors still slipped through, and not just minor mistakes, errors dramatic enough to catch even a casual observer's eye once you know what to look for. One of the standout varieties is the 1999 P. Roosevelt dime with a missing clad layer. Now, normally, modern dimes are made with a copper core and two thin outer layers of a copper-nickel alloy, giving them that bright silver color we all recognize. But a missing clad layer means that one side of the coin didn't get its nickel shell, leaving just the warm copper color of the core exposed. Imagine flipping over a dime and finding that one side looks more like a penny. It's strange, it's striking, and it's precisely the kind of oddity that makes collectors' hearts race. What's particularly compelling about the 1999 missing clad layer dimes is how clean and complete many of the errors are. Sometimes with earlier coins, you'd find partial missing layers where only part of the surface is affected, looking rough or patchy. But many 1999 dimes show a bold, unmistakable full-face copper tone on one side, while the other side retains its normal silver appearance. It's like a coin that's wearing two faces, and that kind of dramatic visual makes a big difference in value and desirability. Market-wise, these coins have done impressively well. High-grade examples, coins that show no signs of wear and maintain their original mint luster, can fetch anywhere from $300 to $600 or more at auction. A 1999 P missing clad layer dime graded MS 66, mint state 66, by PCGS, for instance, sold not long ago for just over $500. And that's for a dime that originally cost exactly 10 cents. Coins in slightly lower mint state grades, say MS 63 or MS 64, still regularly pull in $200 to $350. That's serious money for such a small, easy-to-miss piece. Now, partial missing clad layer coins, where only part of the side is missing the clad layer, are more common and, as you'd expect, generally less valuable. A coin showing only a strip or a patch of exposed copper might sell for $75 to $150 depending on the severity and the coin's overall condition. A complete full-side clad loss is what serious collectors want. The more dramatic and eye-catching the error, the better. But condition remains absolutely critical. If you find a 1999 missing clad layer dime that's been heavily circulated, meaning it's been out in the world picking up nicks, scratches, and grime, its value drops significantly. Circulated examples might only bring $50 to $100, and that's if the error is still clearly visible. In contrast, a pristine, mint-fresh example, properly graded and certified, can multiply that value several times over. If you believe you found one, the best move is to handle it gently by the edges and submit it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC for authentication and encapsulation. Not only does professional grading preserve the coin, but it also gives buyers confidence, and that can translate directly into higher prices. Interestingly, 1999 wasn't just about missing clad layers. Some other known errors from that year include off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting, and double strikes, where the coin was struck more than once, creating a ghostly overlay of design elements. These kinds of errors are also collectible, though they don't usually match the value of a full missing clad layer dime unless they're extremely dramatic. What makes the 1999 Roosevelt Dime especially exciting, even more than 20 years later, is the sense that coins like this could still be out there. Error coins have a way of lingering in circulation unnoticed, passed hand to hand for years without anyone giving them a second look. All it takes is a sharp pair of eyes and a little bit of knowledge to spot one. The thrill of finding a mistake that beat the odds and escaped the mint's quality control, hiding right in everyday change, that's what keeps collectors hunting. And let's not forget that every coin has its story. Some of the missing clad layer dimes have popped up in the most unlikely places: change drawers at fast food restaurants, parking meter returns, even school fundraisers. These little copper-faced errors, so easily dismissed as dirty or damaged coins, carry within them a unique slice of American minting history. As we wrap up the story of the 1999 dime, it's clear that its value lies not just in the material. After all, even the copper core isn't worth much on its own, but in the human element, the errors, the mishaps, and the collectors who spotted something unusual in what everyone else overlooked. But 1999 wasn't the only year the Roosevelt Dime surprised collectors. In fact, if we step back just a couple of years, we'll find that 1997 had its own remarkable offerings. And while the errors from that year might not be exactly the same, they are every bit as fascinating, and in some cases, even more sought after. Let's take a closer look at what 1997 brought to the table. Turning our attention now to the 1997 Roosevelt Dime, we find a coin that, at first glance, doesn't seem like it would make headlines. After all, 1997 wasn't a year of big design changes or special commemoratives for the dime. It was business as usual at the US Mint, or so it seemed. But for collectors who dig deeper, 1997 gave us a number of remarkable errors that have not only captured the attention of experienced numismatists but have steadily climbed in value as more people learn about them. One of the standout errors from 1997 is the dramatic broadstrike dime. A broadstrike error happens when a coin is struck without the collar that normally holds it in place, causing it to spread out wider than usual. This results in a dime that's flatter, a bit larger than normal in diameter, and often missing its characteristic reeded edge, the tiny grooves you feel along the rim. It looks stretched, a little bloated, and instantly odd when you spot it. Broad-struck dimes from 1997, especially ones in pristine, uncirculated condition, have become prized finds. They're unusual enough to immediately jump out to collectors, yet subtle enough that many casual observers would just assume the coin was somehow worn out from years of use. There's also the off-center strike error from 1997, where the design is visibly shifted to one side, leaving part of the blank planchet exposed. The degree of the off-center strike is a major factor in determining value. The more dramatic, the better. A dime with about 50% off-center strike, clearly showing both the date and the majority of Roosevelt's profile, can command hundreds of dollars. For instance, a 1997 P. Roosevelt dime with a sharp 60% off-center strike sold at auction for close to $400. The charm of these errors lies in their clear visual impact. You don't have to be an expert to see that something is seriously unusual about the coin. Another fascinating anomaly from 1997 involves double denominations, extremely rare cases where a dime design was accidentally struck over a previously minted coin, usually a penny. Double denomination errors are among the holy grails for error collectors because they offer a bizarre and striking mix of two different coins in one. For example, the reverse of a cent partially blending into the obverse of a dime creates a stunning and chaotic design. While extremely few of these have surfaced from 1997, any verified double denomination from this year can easily soar into the four-figure range at auction. In terms of market value, 1997 error dimes have been quietly but steadily increasing in desirability. A high-grade, well-centered broadstrike or off-center example, graded mint state 65 or higher, typically sells between $250 to $500 depending on how dramatic and eye-catching the error is. Partial off-centers or weaker broad strikes with circulation wear might fetch lower prices, in the $75 to $200 range, but they're still highly collectible, especially for enthusiasts building typesets of mint errors. Condition, of course, plays a pivotal role. Like with the 1999 errors we discussed earlier, the cleaner the coin, the better. A heavily circulated 1997 off-center dime with lots of bag marks or a dull appearance might only bring $50 to $100. But a brilliant uncirculated specimen, free of distracting flaws, can more than quadruple that figure at auction or in private sales. Serious collectors look for coins with strong strikes, bright luster, and minimal post-mint damage. Eye appeal matters enormously. Two coins with the same technical grade can sell for very different prices based purely on how fresh and attractive they look. But it's not just about numbers and grades. One of the most captivating aspects of 1997 error dimes is the stories behind them. Some of the broad-struck and off-center examples surfaced almost immediately after release, spotted by bank tellers, retail cashiers, and yes, even school kids sorting through lunch money. In the late 1990s, when coin collecting wasn't as driven by social media buzz as it is today, finding an error like this felt like uncovering a personal secret treasure. Some of these coins were kept as lucky tokens or tossed into junk drawers, only to reappear decades later when someone realized just how rare they truly were. A particularly charming story involves a 1997 broad-strike dime that was pulled from circulation by a Florida collector who initially thought it was a foreign coin because of its odd size. It sat in his miscellaneous weird coins jar for nearly 15 years before he had it properly evaluated, only to discover it was worth over $300. Stories like these remind us that even in our fast-paced world, patience and a little curiosity can still pay off in surprising ways. It's also worth noting that 1997 saw some minor variations in planchet quality and striking pressure, leading to a few coins with weaker than normal details, although these are generally not considered major errors. Unless the weakness is tied to an identifiable mint error like a die adjustment strike, these soft strikes are less valuable and usually sell at only modest premiums above face value. True value lies in errors that are dramatic, undeniable, and visually compelling. As we reflect on the 1997 Roosevelt Dime and its unique place in the world of modern error collecting, it becomes clear that even in years without major design changes or minting overhauls, unexpected treasures can emerge. A dime that slips past the strict quality controls of the U.S. Mint to show us a stretched-out broad strike, a boldly off-center face, or a wild double denomination is more than just a mistake, it's a snapshot of a fleeting moment when precision faltered, and history was made, one coin at a time. And just like with the 1999 errors, these dimes are still out there, waiting to be found by collectors who know what to look for, or maybe just by someone finally getting around to emptying that old jar of change. Whether you're scouring rolls from the bank, digging through decades-old collections, or just giving your pocket change a second look, remember, hidden value often lies where you least expect it. As we wrap up today's journey through two remarkable years for the Roosevelt Dime, one thing stands clear: even the smallest coins can carry some of the biggest stories. Whether minted with flaws or simply worn down by time, these dimes remind us that collecting is about more than just dates and mint marks, it's about discovery, history, and that undeniable thrill of holding a true piece of the unexpected.